time since then. So I'm a licensed licensed doctor, but I just, right now I'm not actually actively practicing because I got frustrated with the medical system. I think our healthcare system has some serious problems, some serious conflicts of interest, I think the incentives for providing what I think is appropriate healthcare is misaligned. And so, over the last few years, so we set up a company, which is called Rivero, and we're licensed in all 50 states. We have physicians all across the country, and we're basically set up to provide what I call actual healthcare, root cause medicine, get people off the medications, actually, try and fix their disease and not just medicate everybody, because we have such a system where everybody's just like, you go to the doctor, here's your diagnosis, here's your drugs, stay on the rest of your life, which I think is the wrong course.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What's the name of the company again?
So the company's called Rivero, Revero. And so we raised a bunch of money from crowdfunding and also a bunch of venture capitalists. And so we've been basically building that. We've got thousands of people that are basically on the waiting list. We launch in a couple of weeks. And so, so like I said, it's going to be something that I think will provide healthcare as it should be, instead of, like I said, just the symptom management, putting Band-Aids on stuff, actually getting people healthy. Because I think a lot of diseases are reversible, and we've seen that all the time. We see that pretty frequently.
Well, that's one of the most fascinating things about this carnivore diet is how many, albeit anecdotal stories, you have of people that had all these different conditions, chronic pain, rheumatoid arthritis, chronic fatigue, all these different issues, skin issues, eczema, all these different things that they were treating with medication. It wasn't working. They were experiencing side effects. They start eliminating everything from their diet except for meat, and all of a sudden these problems go away. I mean, there's too many of those stories for it to be ignored.
Yeah, I've been astounded by the number of just crazy things that have happened. And again, it's not that, that is the most profound, rigorous type of science that you can do, but you can't ignore it at this point. There are literally probably hundreds of thousands of people now tried. I've been all over the world now talking about this, and I get people from Germany and Greece and China and Japan and Africa that have all done this, and they all say the same thing. Look, I was sick and now I'm not sick anymore. And so whether or not that is enough evidence to say this is a good treatment, I can't say that, but you can't deny it's happening. And I've been trying to get research done. In fact, there was a study done out of Harvard University 2 years ago. I don't know if you saw that. So there's a guy named David Ludwig who is a senior author. And David, I've talked to him. He is the most ethical, just like he does not want any money from industry. He refuses to take anything. He's like, I want to make sure I do pure science. And they did a study, and they looked at 2,000 people on a carnivore diet. And basically what they saw was like 95% of the people, significant improvement across the board. Now, the thing that was interesting to me is that diabetics, we had like 225 diabetics in that population. 92% of them came off all their insulin. These are all type 2s.
That's insane.
So that's 100% came off all these other injectable drugs, the GLP-1 receptor agonists, which we've heard so much about lately, the Ozempics and things like that. Semaglutide, right. Came off something called a PCSK9 inhibitor. No, sorry, the SGLT2 inhibitors. 84% came off their metformin. So it's just like, this is clearly at least at the very least, a therapeutic tool. And that's how I push this. I don't tell, I wrote a book on this. I didn't say humans are carnivores. I said humans are opportunistic omnivores. If we were living in the Middle Ages and we were out hunting mammoths, and all of a sudden, the Ice Ages were out, and we came across a tree full of Twinkies. I mean, I'm going to eat that. We'd eat it, right? Because we would. But I mean, it's there's obviously people that eat plants that aren't dead and are doing okay. So we're omnivores, but from a disease, mitigation standpoint, I mean, a therapeutic carnivore diet is tremendously effective. I mean, it's one of the more effective things I've seen across the board. And so, at the very least, you'd say, let's explore that aspect of it, because, like I said, there's people that are suffering, and we've got so many people. I know we may talk about vegan, carnivore, all the everything in between, but I think at the end of the day, everybody's eating processed garbage. I mean, we're just eating bullshit. I mean, and that is really one of the problems. And the one thing, and you said this, Joe, when you eat just meat, you're like, I don't want that other bullshit, because you're actually satiated. And this is a thing that's, I think, problematic, because if you look at, interesting, there was a study that just came out now looking at the financial incentive for ultra-processed food. Why do we have this stuff? So you look at the big asset management groups. You've got BlackRock, you've got Vanguard, you've got State Street and Capital, and I can't remember the full names on these, but those guys collectively own huge portions of Nestle, PepsiCo, all these other processed food companies. And they also have significant shares in pharmaceutical manufacturers. So you sicken the population by feeding them garbage, and then you profit on their disease. And I think that's what's going on. And I think it's really unfortunate, And I think some people make an argument, is there a net benefit from feeding more people versus how many people are getting sick? And I think there's a point where the line goes, if most people are getting sick from this and only a few people are benefiting, then you've kind of crossed that line of, is it for the greater good? And then it becomes the realm of almost evil in my mind.